this is Lisa from Mobile Tech Review, and today we're going to look at the ZTE Fury on Sprint. This phone's only $20 with contract and $220 without contract, making it, well, obviously incredibly affordable, but it's a decent Android smartphone nonetheless. So this is the ZTE Fury, and it's available now on Sprint. It's $20 with a 2-year contract, and it is $220 without a contract, making it obviously extremely affordable. It's also very portable. It's a 3.5-inch half VGA display. We're talking old school resolution here, folks. It's 320 by 480 for $20. You're not going to get really cutting edge specs, but that does allow for a quite small phone. You can see how easily I can hold the whole thing in my hand, no problem. Weighs about 4¼ ounces, is light. Has a Gorilla Glass display that's actually pretty sharp and bright. Not bad stuff, certainly for the money. And it's got an overall rubbery kind of look on the back here and feel, which makes it easy to grip. It's kind of one of those practical, pocketable, easy to hold onto phones. You have a 5-megapixel camera with an LED flash and a self-portrait mirror here. Up top's your power button. There's your headphone jack. And on the chromed sides here we have a dedicated camera button. Down here, this is a little grippy place where you grab to pull off the back, and we'll show you what that looks like in a minute. And on this side we have the micro USB port for transferring files and for charging the phone. And this is your volume controls right up here. And to pull off the back, it's pretty easy to do. You just grab the rubbery back and you yank on it. And then we've got a 1500 milliamp battery and micro SD card slot, and it comes with a 2 gig card. Now this has only 4 gigs of internal storage with about 2 gigs available for internal storage as well, so you're not getting a lot of storage for your money, but it's good to know that it's expandable here. Battery life, by the way, is better than usual by today's smartphone standards, which tend to be very power hungry. That's because, well, of the basic specs. And the decent sized 1500 milliamp battery with no 4G on this, a relatively small display, and a single core CPU, you're definitely going to make it through the day easily, probably 2 days depending on how you use it. Take a look at the back here. There's kind of a very subtle dot pattern. Not too easy to see, but it makes it a little less monotonous than just straight black plastic. And this is your speakerphone grill right here. You got a mic hole up here, and then there's another one on the front near where your mouth would be, which makes a lot of sense. The phone has 512 megs of RAM. Now high-end phones usually have a gig of RAM or 768 megs, but that's certainly enough for basic tasks. And this has a single-core 1 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon CPU, it's the MSM8655. So you're not going to be doing super heavy lifting on here, and you'll notice some lag occasionally with the old single-core CPU that it uses. The phone runs Android OS 2.3 Gingerbread. I haven't heard any word about getting an update to Ice Cream Sandwich, but since it's a budget phone, I wouldn't hold my breath to expect that to happen. And when you boot it up out of the box, there's pretty much just vanilla Android on there. And Sprint folks, you know how that goes. You can download ID packs, which we did, so we could get all the usual Sprint applications loaded, which you can see. We have some Sprint widgets, and we've got Sprint Football, NASCAR, Family Locator, Telenav is installed, and you also get Sprint Movies and Sprint Music Zone on here. If we take a look at all installed applications, you can see we've got documents to go. This is the viewer only for MS Office applications, which is fair again for a phone that's this inexpensive. Comes with global time, which is kind of handy, a little world clock thing. And you get all the standard Google apps. You've got YouTube, you've got Maps, you've got navigation, you've got Google Music, all that kind of stuff. And you can see here's our Sprint Music Plus, our Sprint Movies and TV, and Sprint Zone as well. So again, none of these will even be on here unless you download the ID pack. So we said it's a very clean phone, and you can choose what you want to install. We just download this so you can see everything that's on here. The phone, given the fact that it has a single-core 1 GHz CPU, speed-wise, it's just not too bad, actually. It runs the web browser just fine, Gmail, the usual kind of stuff. Some casual games work just fine. But I do notice some occasional lag, and also the touchscreen is another issue. Sometimes it seems like you have to tap twice. It requires a firmer touch than I'm accustomed to. Most Android phones are very light touch these days. Likewise, the capacitive buttons at the bottom here, they require touch. And they're also very faintly masked. We're in a pretty bright room and it's still hard to see. And they only come on if you're in a dark environment. So I'm going to cover the light sensor now, so hopefully they will light up for us. So there they are. They're lit up now, and honestly, they're still not the easiest to see even when they're lit up. Again, this is a 3G only phone. It has EVDO Rev A. And we got about 600K for download and about 400K for upload, which for our area is about average and normal for Sprint. It does have the mobile hotspot feature, so you can use this as a hotspot. Given those speeds, I'm not so sure you're going to be dying to do that anyway. And as we look through, you can see you've got your usual set of Sprint widgets. We've got a contacts widget right here. We have the weather, which for some reason refuses to actually find any zip codes that we enter at the moment, but I'm sure someday it's going to start working. And get a clock there. Messaging widget we've got preloaded here, and there's your Sprint zone to manage your account and control your wireless radios. You can see it has a GPS. Works just fine in our test, both with Telenav and with Google Maps. Call quality is actually pretty good on the phone. Clear voice, both incoming and outgoing. Of course, you can use Bluetooth headsets and car kits as well. And here we have the dialer interface. Nothing too fancy going on. You have your most recent calls that show back there behind your dialer. That's how you show and hide your dialer right there. And then you've got quick access to your call log, to your contacts, to your favorites, and to any groups that you've created. And here we are in the messaging application right now. It's your standard Android messaging app. And you can see the keyboard here is swipe. You get both the standard Android keyboard, which is the default, and swipe. So you can press and hold on the little tool symbol on the keyboard to switch over to swipe if you like swipe, which I know a lot of you do. And here we've got the standard Android WebKit web browser loaded, and we have downloaded Adobe Flash. It doesn't come pre-installed, but you can download it. Now, Adobe Flash can be a little bit taxing on a single-core CPU, so we're going to test that out. But the first thing you've got to notice that with 320 by 480 pixels, you're not seeing much on the screen of a desktop-style web page right here. So you're going to be doing a lot of pinch zooming or scrolling around. But speed for that is actually not too bad. That's not bad at all. Let's torture it with a little Adobe Flash and see how it does. We'll check out our PS Vita video review. And we are doing this over Wi-Fi because, well, 600K download speeds are not really so great for showing you things expediently otherwise.
And it had a much lower
So here we are in the video, and it's actually doing pretty well.
Touchscreen. This guy has a touchscreen now. You've got
It's automatically doing full screen because this is relatively low resolution, so the default low resolution one is appropriate. But it's keeping up, no frame drops, sounds in sync. And the speaker volume is pretty decent. We got about 3/4 of the way up right now. But not too bad. And now we're checking out Sprint TV, which, as you can see, right, it says on screen, you can generally now use with Wi-Fi, which is a good thing. We're going to check out an episode of Psych. Again, we're doing this over Wi-Fi at the moment. But actually, I found the quality wasn't too terribly bad over 3G. And there are some frame drops there, but for Sprint TV, this is pretty good. So that's the ZTE Fury. It's available now on Sprint for the monumental price of $20 with contract and $220 without. And like I say, if you're just looking for a budget phone, you don't want to have to pay for one of those WiMAX plans, that WiMAX tax for added 4G that you might not even get in your area. It's certainly not a bad phone. It has good quality, it has good reception, decent throughput on 3G network, and obviously you've got Wi-Fi to fall back on as well. You're not going to get any high-end specs here. You're not going to get a high-resolution display, as you saw. This wouldn't be my first choice if you're looking to play something like Dead Space. And since it is a budget phone, well, you're giving up a couple of things. The back 5-megapixel camera, it's decent, it's acceptable, but there is no front camera for video chat. But for everyday use, for web browsing, even some Adobe Flash playback, it works pretty well. There aren't many customizations here by the manufacturer. There's no like quick access to your wireless settings and stuff like that you'll find on Samsung TouchWiz phones or HTC Sense phones. But then again, it travels pretty lightweight, and that keeps it running fairly smoothly, even with the Sprint ID pack loaded. I'm Lisa from Mobile Tech Review. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.